Hello, Kopi podcast. On this episode 12, we have Annatasha Saiful, a baker, musician, photographer, videographer, dancer, a live surfer who just recently came back from Boston, studied software, studied audio engineering, and back in KL for good. This is Annatasha Saiful's little life story on how she became so good in so many different things. She's not only good in singing, but she's also good in producing, mastering, mixing, and all the music making. And she could be the next big thing that Malaysia has been anticipating all these years. You know, my instinct, tingling a little bit right here. Tune in to youtube.com/milofico for the full visuals. And thank you so much for being here. Enjoy episode 12 with Annatasha Saiful, aka Monkey Disease. Okay, hello, Kopiko Milo podcast. Today we have Annatasha Saiful.
Hello Milo, nice to meet you
AKA
finally.
AKA Monkey Disease.
Betul, yes,
All
monkey
right.
disease.
So tell us more about yourself. Like, how young are you and
How young?
where are you from?
I am born and raised in Kuala Lumpur.
Okay.
I'm 25 years old.
Mhm.
I've always lived around this area, around the city area, so I guess you can say I'm a city girl.
Okay.
I grew up just with my mom and my brother, and
Mhm.
then now I have a younger brother, but that's about it.
All
Very
right.
simple, easy life.
So where do you get the name Monkey Disease from?
Oh wow, that was a long time ago. I was 13 and I think we were on a family vacation in London.
Okay.
And it was the first time my mom gave me a camera.
Mm.
And as you know, I do, or if you don't know, I do a bit of photography.
Mhm.
And I was starting up my first DeviantArt page,
Okay.
which is, the place to be at that time, 12 years ago for photography and visual arts. And I needed to come up with a domain name. And at that time, I wasn't sure. I was watching National Geographic. Or was it Discovery Channel? It was a sciencey kind of channel, and they were talking about the evolution of AIDS, like the disease.
Right.
And they were saying one of the theories is it came from monkeys, and then after that, the next thing they talked about was how it spread through the world pretty fast.
Okay.
And I sat there I want my art to spread through the world pretty fast. And then I was like, but I can't call myself AIDS. That's just so inappropriate. I think I'll just call myself monkey disease. I'm like, okay lah, at 13, that's kind of cute. But it's stuck ever since. And it's kind of funny because when I go out for events or for concerts and people see me, they'll be like, hey, monkey.
Yeah.
And then I will also turn around and be like, hey. I'm like, why did I just respond to monkey?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how monkey disease came about, and it's stuck ever since. 13 years.
So you're a baker, you're a writer, you're a cook. You're also a photographer, videographer, and musician.
Yeah, kind of.
Like,
A little bit of everything.
How in the world is that possible? How young did you start? Like,
Well,
what was the first? Yeah.
Oh, what was the first? Yeah, my first initial vice was dance. I did ballet.
Holy
Wait,
shit! It's not even
from-
included.
It was not on the list. Yeah, it was ages 4 till 17ish. I did that for a while, and then I decided I wanted to try to sing first. So that came in a bit later, but then I did classical guitar first.
Okay.
And then after the whole musical theatre thing kind of didn't work out for me, I started to dive into things that were by the books of my very Asian grandparents, practical for making money, which is maybe F&B business. So that's why I went to culinary school. During that time in culinary school, I didn't have enough money to go out with friends, and I still had the cameras that my mom provided for me as a child. I was like, I think I need to make some extra pocket cash. Let's just go out and take pictures for girls who want better profile pictures on MySpace.
Oh, MySpace
on
days.
Facebook, yeah,
Okay.
I know, right? And it worked. So people came to me, and then I got really in the groove of that. And then, photography always kind of grows into videography. And I just got to try a little bit of everything. But the main motive for me to try all of these things was because I wanted to find different outlets to either output my creativity and also make money in return.
But this was when you're a teenager.
Yeah,
right?
between ages, all the extra things that came along, like culinary, photography, videography, baking, that all came between ages 16 to 20.
Well, how did that monetization, the idea of monetizing these things came about? Like, was it your mom supported you?
Yeah, it was definitely inspired by my mother because
Okay.
she's always been kind of like an entrepreneur. She works
Right.
within the home. She works from home, everything. Her office is all over here. And it's kind of not trying to do my absolute best to not work a 9 to 5 job. So monetizing things, at first, you kind of feel like you don't have enough skill to do it. So I practiced for free first. I always gave out free photo shoots and free cookies and free macarons until I felt like, all right, my worth is a bit up a little bit. Now I need to start charging for my electricity, for my time, and for my labor. So that's just how it came along, lah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, when did you go to culinary school? Like, how old were you?
I was 18, and I
18.
finished when I was about to turn 20.
So, before that decision, you already had that music in mind, right? And then you mentioned like you don't know how to make money out of it.
Yeah. So after finishing high school, of which was the peak of my musical theatre career, it was time for me to start thinking about real life, right? Because you're out of high school.
Yeah.
Actually, like we're all still really scared of real life, so I don't know what my parents were talking about back then. They were like, well, it was not so much. I guess I just didn't want to like disappoint anyone by going into such a risky, very subjective business such as music, that I wanted something to fall back on just in case. And the only form of art that I had not experimented with was culinary arts, because I love arts and I didn't want to do like a business major or accounting major. So like, all right, culinary art sounds good, and Malaysia is huge on food. It'll definitely be a good place for me to fall back on just in case the music thing doesn't happen. But throughout the whole culinary journey, I actually thought I wasn't going to do music anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like in love with it. It was really fun. And I started my own business, my own pastry business, and it was making money. It was good, but I got tired and I was like, all right, let's go and jalan for a while. I decided to go to America to visit some of my friends who turned out to be in Berklee College of Music. So when I went to see them, I got to see their school and where they study, what they study. I was like, okay, I still have to go back to music. There's no way they're taking the music out of me. So from then on, that's when I decided I will audition for Berklee.
So how is it like doing culinary in college? It takes a lot of patience and a lot of like long hours.
For sure. Our classes, like some of our night kitchen classes would go from 6 p.m. to 12 a.m.
Okay.
Because you have to clean up after you cook and everything. And, you see shows like MasterChef and you see Gordon Ramsay screaming at the kids. That happens.
That's real life, right?
Yeah, it's kind of tough. I mean, like, if you don't have a strong sense of a core to just like have thick skin and have people shout at you, it can get quite traumatic. Yeah, because they really shout and they really swear at you.
Yeah. So how did that came out? Like, did it make you toughen up?
I guess so.
A lot.
I guess so. You could say that. It kind of made me a bit more thick-skinned. And sure, when you make your mistakes, you kind of just have to own up to it. And they will mock you and they'll be sarcastic. And sometimes you just feel like throwing a pan across somebody's face. But you just learn how to persevere and just be really calm and just continue and finish through with the dish. And I feel at the end of the day, it kind of translated to when I shifted over to music. So when people say your work is not that great or your singing is kind of crappy, you kind of just build the patience to work through it. Yeah.
Okay.
Good lessons.
So let's go backtrack a little bit. How was your childhood like?
My childhood. So I grew up with my mother, my brother, like I said before, and actually my bibi, who has been working with us for 27 years. I'm 25 now, so she's like my mom. My parents were separated like even slightly before I was born. So growing up with a single parent who actually supported us solely by herself is mainly my biggest inspiration in life. Knowing that you can do it alone even if you have people to take care of with you, like your kids. But it was a good childhood, very comfortable, because my mom worked her butt to the bone to make sure that we were comfortable, went to great schools. I was in one school to begin with, and then I was very heavily bullied over there. So then my mom takes care of me well enough, so like the moment she saw I was getting bullied there, she transferred me to a different school. So at least our mental state and our mental health is very well taken care of. So it's good. I think because of my mother, I have a good head on my shoulders lah. In terms of level-headed, I try not to be mean. I try to be polite, practice kindness and gratitude. We just grew up together. We support each other because there were only the three of us then, and then my little brother came along.
Oh, okay. So you're not the youngest.
I'm not the youngest.
Right.
I'm the only girl, but I'm not the youngest.
Okay.
And my little brother came along, and then we all had a new place to channel our energy to, and then create a good positive environment for this young boy he's 13 years younger than me.
13,
So
yeah.
he's 12
All
this
right.
year.
Cool.
So it's been good. This household is everything I could ever dream of. And people say, oh, your parents are divorced, you come from a broken home. I'm like, not really. My home's pretty well put together.
Yeah, the energy
Yeah.
here is good.
Yeah.
I really like that.
You met my mom.
Yeah.
She's nice.
Yeah. Okay, so what was the best memory that you remember of from childhood? Like being a kid.
Probably just having my mom at all my ballet recitals and all the stuff about art that she was very supportive of, because my mom is also a very art inclined person, but she's more visual arts.
Okay.
Our family used to have an art gallery,
Right.
that kind of thing, and it's just having her be there for at times when I see my other friends, peer parents are not very supportive of. That's like my happiest moment, and to see that she's proud of me, even though it's the bare minimum, even though I just did a small like tippy toe point on stage, and she's just so proud. Just my favorite part of childhood, just to see her happy after how happy she's made me and my older brother. So that's like really emotional, but also like really close to my heart.
Right.
Yeah.
So how did the music came about? Is it solely from classes or?
Yeah. So
Was she a musician herself?
my mother was not, but my
Okay.
father plays music,
Alright.
and we're close now, so that's not a problem.
Okay.
But I never got it from him, I guess, because I didn't grow up with him, right?
Yeah.
I was 9 when I first joined Chempaka schools, and they had like a compulsory class for music. So you could pick either guitar, piano, or violin, and guitar was the only thing that was left. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll take that, right? But it turned out to be great because I really
Yeah.
love playing the guitar, and that's how music started building. And then from then on, I had choir lessons in school as well. Then
That's
I
where
was
the
like,
singing came about.
yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I can hold a note. And then I just kept on practicing, and then dance came back to Chempaka as well. So just mix all of those together, and that's how I got to practice a lot within high school and middle school. And Chempaka also has musical productions every year.
Okay.
So we've done like West Side Story, we've done Fame the musical, they've done Beauty and the Beast, and so on and so forth. And every year it gives us something to audition for and something to work for like 2 months at a time. We're not in class, and we're just dancing, singing, and acting.
Right. So after high school, so Chempaka is like primary school, right?
Yeah, primary and high school.
Primary. Okay. So then Taylor is for culinary, right?
Correct.
How is
Right
it like
after.
in Boston? You went straight away. You applied to Berkeley.
Yeah.
And then you got in.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Yeah. Straight away. And how was the experience like?
The audition or just Boston?
The audition. How did it came
Okay.
about? And
Yeah, the audition. So we had to register online first and
Okay.
everything, which was like, okay, whatever, this is fine. The audition was in ICOM, International College of Music, in I don't know, like where was that area? It's like around Bulatan Pahang over there.
okay, right.
Anyways, and I went in, and a lot of people who auditioned for Berkeley at ICOM are actually already studying in ICOM. They want to transfer their credits over and like finish their degree in Berkeley
Okay.
in Boston.
Right.
So I was one of the very few that showed up that was not from ICOM and did not show up with a band. So I just came in with my acoustic guitar. I prepared a song from one of my favorite YouTube musicians. And
Who would that be?
his name is Ryan Mitchell Gray.
All right.
Hi Ryan, if you're watching this, because now he's he's a friend from New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, crazy story. Anyways,
Right.
and then I just sat in front. It's like judges, and then you have to sing a song for 5 minutes. You have to do call and response. You have to do sight reading, improvisation, and then an interview. So all of the above was kind of like not within my practice zone because I never was classically trained in like reading notes and stuff like that. Tapi just like pantai lah, just try lah, right?
Yeah.
And it turned out okay. I had actually got really good advice from a friend to sing something that's from the heart as opposed to something that shows your range or your skillfulness. Because I feel at the end of the day, it's true, they kind of want to see somebody who has more passion and more intent of learning as opposed to who was already good at it and they just wants to come to school.
Yeah.
So that was good. Nerve-wracking. I got in later that year, but my visa couldn't be completed until the following year. So I had to defer my semester a couple of times, but I'm super happy because I went into school during a summer semester.
Okay.
Usually people come in the spring or in the fall, But the summer semester was super great, and all my best friends I met that semester because we all started at the same time.
Right.
So I'm just super thankful for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So how was the experience in Boston itself? Like,
Oh, it's fantastic. It's
yeah,
like surprisingly not that big of a culture shock. I guess because we grew up with like Hollywood movies and Western culture over here. We bring a lot of it back here. So it was not that big of a culture shock. Definitely opened my eyes a lot more and broadened my mindset and my heart to anything that's a little bit different from over here, considered taboo over here. I mix a lot with a lot of different kinds of people from different backgrounds, different lifestyles. I didn't try to stay within the Malaysians who are just in Berkeley, because that seems to happen a lot, like in overseas schools.
especially Malaysians, right? They just tend to stick together.
Yeah, I
right?
mean, it's good. We're all family, and that's great. Every year for like Hari Raya, we'll go to my auntie's friend's house in New Hampshire, which is not so far away. And, you know, that's the Malaysian family. But when I come back, it's nice to get out of the bubble. There's this thing called the Berkeley bubble, because everything you need for music, for connections, is all within Berkeley. But if you get out of it, you kind of get to expand your networking. And that's what I like to do, just meet people, go out, go to concerts, and just see people who are not in school as well, you know? And because I was old enough to go out.
Yeah.
I was 22. Like all the under 21s couldn't go out. So I was like, bye.
Bye, guys. So yeah, music sound engineer, right? You mentioned.
Yeah.
What would be your niche then?
What do you mean? Like what do I? So
yeah, do you produce?
Okay, so my major is called music production and sound engineering. There is a production side of it and an engineering side to it. The production side is the creative aspect, obviously. You take a piece of music and you turn it into something new. I like that part, but I'm not in love with it.
Right.
I kind of like being given my tools and then I fix it. So my niche that I like to do is studio engineering. I like to set you up in the studio, make sure you're comfortable, make sure you sound good. And then I also like mix engineering, so post-production.
Mixing, wow. So
post is my thing.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself in music? Like, will you be more producing more, creating more?
I reckon I will probably be doing a lot more post.
Post.
Yeah. So like, give me what you have already. I mean, you know, it's funny because it's like in post you can still be producing a little bit. So I would love to, like, if people wanted to give me their tracks and then in post I will fix and add as I go along.
Wow.
Because for me, it's funny. I've grown up loving to be creative, but I always need something to work with. Like even dancing, if you asked me to choreograph a piece of dance, I probably couldn't do it by myself. But if you gave me something, I'll make it my own.
Right.
Kind of like kind of like mixing as well, or producing. It's like you give me your stems and you've already got like the basic skeleton of it, and then I can work from there. But if you ask me to start from scratch, it's a little bit hard. That's where I stump a lot for creativity.
I think there's a lot of like opportunities for you then. Like there's a lot of emerging artists, musicians in Malaysia right now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You know, like come to me.
And
like,
you have the
here.
expertise and the skills.
Well, I mean, I have a piece of paper. I don't know if the skills are there, but let people see how it goes, because that's where I need to build my portfolio. So just for now, I'm trying to get my friends to send me their tracks, and I'll work on that as my portfolio.
So what else do I miss? Like bakery, music, dancing, photography, videography. Anything else is on your sleeves?
Well, in terms of like art, not really, but I love scuba diving. That was a thing. Kalau sports is not. I wasn't really a sportsy girl because I liked all the artsy. I was the introvert at the back of the class kind of thing, which is kind of weird because I talk a lot, but this is how I deal with having people around. Social anxiety, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So about photography, right? You did a lot of like freelance gigs before you went to Berkeley, or during the Berkeley years?
Before, quite a bit before. Back at home, that's what I started to like help me earn a little bit of money to bring over. Just portraits or like blog shops, beauty campaigns and stuff like that. It was quite busy before.
Was it like the same routine for everyone, or do you have any memorable moments with people that you have while taking portraits or studio time?
Well, over there? Over here,
Malaysia.
I don't know. I think every photo shoot is pretty damn memorable. But my favorite is obviously portraits, because those are I remember that the most, because I actually get to know the person on the other side of the camera, and I want to capture their aesthetic and make sure that it translates into the photographs, because it's different from shooting beauty ads or clothes catalogs kind of stuff, because that's just to show off the clothes or to show off the product. But when you're doing a personal portrait shoot, that always like warms my heart. I just love it so much. Yeah.
And also, you met a couple of like the people who are uprising, the upcoming talents in Malaysia. How was it? How was it back then? Any
It's like what
like probably let me think. How was it working with Elisha Amin?
Alicia Amin?
Yeah, she's probably not your friend, I guess.
Yeah,
She
well,
probably-
we actually known each other since high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I don't remember what school she went to. I think she went to Sri Hatamas, but I was in Chempaka, which was around the corner. And if we go to like the mama around the area, we always see each other at the time. But it was very interesting because sometimes there are like two different kinds of artists in Malaysia, the ones that are a bit more open and the ones that have to be really conservative for the sake of the audience, and I totally respect and understand that. And with Alicia, at least we got to be a bit wilder, you know, with the clothes and the way she
because
poses.
she has that image of her,
Yeah.
so she gets to like sort of be herself.
Oh,
in a way,
absolutely, and
right?
there's just so much power and love in that kind of photo shoots, and we had so much fun doing that. And because she's an excellent model, it was so easy to take a picture.
Right.
It's just like, this is the easiest job I've ever had.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a job; we were just doing it for fun. And then it's really, I think, part of the beauty about taking photos of people's portraits in Malaysia is being able to adapt to what they need and what they can show and cannot show. And it's interesting to see people vary from
Yeah,
personality to
what
personality.
about Diane Trisha?
Yeah, she's, oh my god.
She's
like,
probably your best friend now.
She's
right?
like, we're really close. She came to Boston to visit me.
Yeah.
Working with her is super fun. She knows what she wants, so it's perfect. We know exactly what kind of images to take of her, in the sense that we know what her people want to see, because she's also a very, she's like, she's definitely Malaysia's sweetheart right now, I think. She's like the current Lisa Surihani, I feel.
Yes.
And working with her is such a breeze, because it's easy. She gives good direction. She takes direction very well. And that level of, how do you say, I wouldn't say pressure, but that level of intensity to know that there is a certain standard to live up to for the sake of a huge following kind of drives you and makes you want to do better.
All right. So when that happened, she already has a big following. When
When we did her former beauty line product shoot, it was she was already, I mean, she's been pretty big in the scene for quite a while. We both actually met during a time when we were recruited for as an ambassador for a certain company. That was the only time. That was when we met, and at that time we're still, small 19-year-old girls, cutesies.
I see.
And then she just blew up, and I was like, wow, Diane. But she's doing good. Hi, Diane. I miss you. Come over.
Yeah. Speaking of like your career, right? How did that boom came about? Like with you and your Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah.
That's
Did it happen gradually or?
Okay, so it's kind
Overnight.
of funny because at some point of my life, it actually was hiking up really fast. And that was that was right after I graduated culinary school. And I remember I hit 10K when I was 20. So, okay, I'm like 40 something now. So it's, been 5 years. So I don't like climb super fast or anything. But that's okay. I'm kind of all right with that. It actually happened when I started my macaron business online. I did the pastry business thing. But it really hiked up when I dyed my hair purple.
Wow.
And everybody was like,
Did it become
I don't
trending
know,
or
but
something? Was it
guess,
featured?
I don't know. I thought I was just doing what like Hayley Williams was doing, you know what I mean, or like Katy Perry was doing at the time. So I thought I just wanted it for myself. My mom obviously didn't care. She was like, "You're old enough, do whatever you want." But I think it came as a shock to a lot of people because I don't think they had seen a lot of Malay girls with like really bright colored hair at the time. But that's when it started, and I was like watching my follower count, like, okay, my food is here, but you guys are looking at my hair. Okay, you want to buy my food in the meantime as well? I'm like, where's the concentration? Where's the focus? But it's okay lah. So I just kept on riding that wave. But I think that was like the peak of my career. And then right after that, I told you I saved money and I went to America to visit my friends and I documented everything.
Right.
I did like my vlogs. So that's when I got picked up by like 17 magazine and Malaysia and like Clio magazine to talk about my social media experiences and my travel stuff. So a lot more people started wanting to follow where I was trying to go, which I didn't know where yet. But it got there eventually, I guess.
So, where do you see yourself in these like sort of next year, 1 year? Will you go into acting,
Ooh.
more acting, or 100% more
I think I'm trying
behind the
to,
scenes? Because I
yeah.
feel like because I've seen the trends of people going overseas and coming back and then boom, they explode,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And I have a feeling like your breakthrough is coming.
I hope
But it
so.
just depends on in what field. Because
Correct.
since you have like 5 different
The thing is,
talents.
yeah, I mean, no, I mean, like, I want to do a little bit. You see, there's a thing. It's like I like to do 5 different things, but I'm not necessarily excellent at all of them. I'm pretty good, but I'm not excellent. But that's okay. At least I
Yeah,
have a
but
little
that's
bit.
what you think. But from my
I hope so.
perspective, you are actually very good. But I haven't
Thank
tasted
you.
your baking yet.
Okay, next time you come over, I'll
Yeah.
make sure I have some prepared for you. Within the next year, I'm tired, really tired. I was going to take some time off and just like kind of get my bearings together.
Tired
But
from being
from
away.
from being away, from studying, from working, making sure I could survive in Boston because
Yeah.
it was very expensive over there and I wasn't on scholarship. So I wanted to help, as much as I can with my tuition fees and my rent and stuff. But yeah, so I'm tired. I'll take some time off, but I can't really sit still as well. I really want to concentrate on music and especially post-production, but I have to wait for that for my portfolio to build a bit more lah. Now that I have time to sit down and work on it, I'll probably do that first. In the meantime, I'm just going to concentrate on practicing good vibes between women in our community over here in Malaysia. I'm actually organizing a weekend getaway trip for maybe nothing's confirmed yet, but maybe 20 to 30 girls. We go away for a weekend and we do workshops for self-care, for arts, for painting, essential oils, to talk about mental health and, anything that might be taboo in our country. Just a safe space for girls to get together and just exercise good energy. That's probably going to be tiring but more fulfilling for me within the next year while I still get my bearings for the professional career side. Yeah.
Okay.
My plans.
Right. What would be your deepest fear though?
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean in life in general or in my
Yeah,
career wise?
in life, yes.
Okay, like this is super deep, but my biggest fear is not being able to have kids.
Yeah?
Yeah. I really want children at some point. But that's why I try to, be good, stay healthy.
I see.
Make sure my body is working. Go get checkups regularly.
Yeah.
Girls, make sure. Yeah, that's probably my biggest fear because I've always loved children. And my mom, I basically helped my mom raise my younger brother. So it's like, oh, children are my
So
life.
you're pretty much ready.
Oh, I'm so ready. All my friends are having kids now, and I'm like, bring them over. Oh, you're not bringing your baby over? You don't come over. You go home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you find your inspiration on a daily basis?
Probably just from people around me. I'm very active on social media, and people think like it's a different world in there, which is, and it kind of disconnects us from the real world. But it kind of brings me back to the real world, to be quite honest. The way I use social media, I like to look at my friends who are making it either across the country, in America, who are doing things they love, especially having met them from Berkeley, seeing them from a small, class student to like becoming something they really want to be. That's where the inspiration comes from because it kind of pushes me to want to be as good or pushes me to want to reach my goals the way they did. And they didn't do it just by sitting around. They did it by pushing through. So I see on the Instagram and then I put my phone down and I go out there,
Yeah.
And just also the biggest motivation is also my mother. I just want to make her happy, make sure that I can take care of her when she cannot take care of herself anymore. Yeah.
How do you stay focused in the midst of this also distracting world that we're living in right now? Like, because since you have a lot of things going on, you have a lot of options as well. Like you're like really good in 5 different things. You can actually choose any path you want, and you can actually probably make a way for yourself. But how do you remain have that focus and level of intensity in doing what you like?
It's funny because it's like it doesn't sound like I'm a very focused person since I do a lot of different things, but I go by feel and by vibes, as they call it. If you want to sound in the now, I go by vibes, and whatever is in front of me, I'll stick it through to the end until I finish that, and then I can like see what other options I have. Being as like a freelance thing, it's just one at a time, one step at a time. I can't take on too many jobs at the same time, because just like everybody else, sometimes I bite more than I can swallow, or chew off more than I can swallow, and it gets to me, and then you just
crash.
Yeah, you crash, and you just gotta find your way to just like stabilize yourself again and just go 1 foot at a time. And I focus what's in front of me first, and then I take on the next project, and then I take on the next project. I can't overlap stuff. Yeah, I mean, they say like you can be like an octopus and have 8 tentacles and do everything at once. Like, that's not how I work. I cannot do that. Just like, that's just my personal preference lah.
I see. Who has been your greatest mentor in life, or perhaps in art, in music, or I don't know, individually in baking? Or
there's a lot of that.
Yeah, it's different for different field. You have different mentors, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty hard to say. Maybe for baking and cooking, not so much. I don't really have a mentor. In terms of music and reaching myself, like how do you say, coming across my own obstacles, have to be like 2 of my teachers in Berkeley. One was my vocal teacher, because I'm not much of a singer, but she really helped me push through. She made me do my potential. Then she taught me about the business and the life of things. And like my engineering teachers, who took care of me and told me, you have great potential, and let me just teach you everything I know. Like, I am selfless with my knowledge, and that's what I really, really liked about education in America. They, my mentors over there would like talk to me on the same level of maturity. They didn't talk down on me. They didn't treat me like a child. They like really treated me as an equal, and like just shared everything they knew. They weren't like stingy with their knowledge. And then in dancing, Miss Judy Mar Hernandez, she's a Venezuelan dancer. She's not living here anymore, but she used to teach in Champaca, and she taught me everything I need to know about dancing. I haven't danced in a long time, and hopefully she will never see me dance today or something, because it's horrible. But she's my mentor, because when I say mentor, I mean they taught me my skill, but they also taught me the the values behind the skill. It's not just how to dance and how good to get at dancing. It's also, the etiquette, the work, the just how to work with people around you, teamwork. It's all those lessons that come with. But overall, my biggest mentor has to be my mother lah. She's just my superhero, my Wonder Woman. She's taught me, everything I needed to know about life, about independence.
She has the light and good aura in her.
Yeah,
I can see that where you got that from.
What a woman,
Yeah.
She's put me through school. She's just taken care of me, manners and everything. So she's a great woman. Yeah, she's like #1 mentor in the world.
Cool. Wow, I hope your mom is listening right now.
Yeah, I know. I'll show her. She'll probably be crying. Yeah.
Annatasha, what is the meaning of life to you?
Oh, man, that's a deep one. It's like, are we still in my room right now? Are we in outer space?
Transported into another.
I know. Like, what? I feel my personal take of the meaning of life is to live life. You know how people say live life to the fullest? It's like, I want everybody to like live life, to have that fulfilled life, but it has to be fulfilled the way you know how it is to be fulfilled. Like, some people think it's either to be successful or popular or famous. Some people is like rich, with comfortable, with lots of money, can do anything they want. Some people just want to be happy and have kids. Doesn't matter if they live in a hut. It's just live life the way you want to, without interfering with other people's lives. That's like my biggest goal, that everybody just minds their own business.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my meaning of life is like, I want to live life that when I am on my deathbed, or I'm about, wherever I am, I'm about to die, I can feel like I did everything right, and I did everything for me and my loved ones the way they would have wanted to. And not for anybody else that I do not know, just for the people I love. And just die happy.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's deep.
Yeah,
but
it
that's the essence of Annatasha, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
I guess so. That's me.
Yeah. What do you think? How do people stop comparing themselves to others?
That one's a hard one, because I still do that even till today. It's funny because when I do that, then I remind myself that instead of trying to make like, let's say I'm comparing myself to you, instead of trying to make me a Milo, not kopi, sorry. So, okay, hamba. Instead of trying to make me a Milo, might as well use that time to make myself a better me for tomorrow. And it's like, you literally just cannot be somebody else. So why even try? So I have to I will definitely like terpeso my mind for a while from that thought, but then I will try and come back and be like, okay, you cannot be Ariana Grande, so just try and be yourself, you know? So it's hard, but you have to like really, it's like practicing lah. It's like training, you know, your mindset. But it's definitely inevitable that you compare yourself to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just to let everybody know that it's okay, everybody goes through it.
See. Yeah, but do you think it actually helps people? Do you think it helps or it hinders them from getting what they want, they truly want?
Right. If used in a healthy manner, then okay. But I think sometimes people get too obsessed trying to be somebody else, and it really hinders them from being themselves and then getting what they want.
Right.
Because it gets tiring when you compare yourself to other people, and then other people compare yourself to other people. It's like non-stop every day. I'm like, oh, you're like Maya Karin. Oh, you're like Lisa Surihani. You're like this. You're like that. I'm like, no, I'm me.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you think about it, and then I'm like, maybe I want to be a Maya Karin. Maybe I do want to be Lisa Surihani. But if I use that in a healthy manner, like, okay, if I do want to become like her, then I have to make myself a more wholesome human being and help with the environment and try the whole humanitarian line and stuff. And then that pushes me to be a better me in the end of the day. But to become exactly like them, I think that might make it a little bit tricky. And then you lose yourself in trying to be someone else.
True.
Yeah.
But how does someone know themselves in because like we are surrounded by people around us, right?
Yeah.
So we actually lose ourselves even if we think that we are actually ourselves, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
Because you're surrounded with a lot of different kinds of people. I feel like people forget that you are made of the people around you. So at the end of the day, you're like, oh, maybe this is not me, but I'm like this because I'm around you and you and you. But when I'm around my friends and I see a little bit of their like their traits here and there, and it becomes a part of me, that in the end, the compilation of all these little traits from them is me. In the end of the day, it's kind of like makan lauk, you know. You take here, and then you get your own, and that's me. This is who I am. Because if I hang out with friends who our personalities are more conflicting than together, then you realize you just don't really hang out with them anymore, because at the end of the day, what's part of them becomes part of you, and you don't want that to become part of you if they have like a negative side of them and everything.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't know whether you're you, but actually you are you. You just got to be really confident about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So you were in Boston for the last 3 years.
Yeah, 3
right?
years.
So you sort of missed out on the like voting.
Oh yeah, I
right?
missed it like
Just a little bit by
by
a few.
by a mile. Actually, my parents flew in. Well, not my parents. Sorry, my family flew in. I think they arrived May 9th, and it
Okay.
was May 8th, right? And the
No,
voting.
It was the 9th here.
It was
but
the
I guess
9th here.
8th there.
Yeah, it was the 8th there.
Okay.
So they flew in May 9th, so they just about missed it too.
Right.
And it was so unfortunate because we didn't know when was voting at that time. Kind of they booked these tickets since way beforehand.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I saw everything, and it was like a new world when we woke up the next morning. You know, I don't know, I can't really talk about politics because I'm not well versed. Like that's the only thing I like, oops, you know, I should get into it. But I know, like I'm 25, I should like get my crap together. But it was nice to see Malaysia come together for that day. It was really beautiful, just even from Twitter and Instagram, and everybody looked so happy. And I don't know what it's going to be like. We don't know yet.
Yeah, the new Malaysia, right?
Yeah, but we'll see how it goes. But now we're all here, we can work together.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask, like, comparing America, like Boston itself and Malaysia, what do you miss most apart from food and
Thank you.
family?
Okay.
Okay. What do you miss most about Malaysia while you were there? What do you see that we have that they lack of?
I wouldn't say that they are lacking of, but it's just our sense of humor is very different. And we can't say they lack of it when they don't even know it, right?
Right.
So it's like, I feel like our mindset, our sama kepala when we talk and we laugh about things, that's what I feel they lack of. And the difference in friendships are very big over there, where they're very close and they're very tight-knit, but it's not very... It's very different kind of family vibes than from here in terms of friendship. Like, you know, you have your group of friends here and you feel like you guys are just one big happy family. It's also like that, but it's different.
Right.
I don't know why, but it's just the way it is. But yeah, definitely when I'm over there, I really miss like Malaysian banter. And when I see my Malaysian friends on campus and we start talking to each other, we're like bantering and bickering with each other. It's so much fun.
Right.
I was like, oh, I miss KL. I miss being able to talk crap about you.
Yeah.
It's like super fun.
So it's a sense of humor then.
Yeah, definitely, because it's different lah. Western
The
humor and
style. Yeah.
our really like Laut Hamba here is so different.
Okay, if this would be the last advice that you could ever pass to your kid, your unborn child
Yeah.
that you hope for, right?
Yeah.
What would
Which would? Yeah.
what would be your last piece of advice
To my child?
Yeah, to your kid that will be watching this probably 30 years from now.
Tak nak lah 30 years. Who knows? I can have a child that late in life. I think I would absolutely love my child to know to not be afraid of trying out new things. And even if it's the scariest thing, don't worry. I will be here. I will, help you every step of the way. And if I don't think it's right for you, I will tell you and you should listen to me. Because there will be times where I'm sure my child will decide to do something that I don't approve of. And I might not see the light in it first, but I will open my heart to try and understand what it is. And then if it's good, then let's go for it. If it's not, then we have to talk about it again. Because that was the same thing that went through with my mother when I told her I wanted to do sound engineering. She's like, Tasha, you're a performer. You sing, you dance. Like, why are you going into sound engineering? Can you even engineer? Do you really think you can be an engineer? But I'm like, just listen to me. Let me try it out. I'll show you what I can do. And I did. And she was like, okay. Like, just to give my advice to other people out there as well with their children, with their unborn child, is just to give their child that chance to just show you that you might be wrong, because you could be. And I just want my child to know that I will willingly accept and admit I'm wrong when I'm wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. What kind of music do you listen to?
Ooh, boy. It changes from time to time. I grew up listening to a lot of like acoustic pop stuff. Jason Mraz was my number one inspiration growing up in music. The reason why I picked up guitar and singing properly and all that stuff. But then it kind of progressed into different genres, because being in sound engineering and production, you kind of want to know a little bit of everything. So if people came to you and was like, this is my track, but it's a country track, do you know what to do with it? At least I'll know what to do with it. Currently, over the past semester, because of my best friend Robbie Hadley from Michigan, not Detroit, sorry, from Novi, Michigan, I've been listening to a lot of progressive instrumental metal.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just instrumental music. Sometimes it's heavy, sometimes it's super laid back, like kind of chill. That's because my friend, he just influenced me. Like, you're in school, we influence each other and each other's music. I also listen to a lot of like alternative rock and heavier stuff. My current favorite band is Don Broco. They're from England.
Okay.
They're like party rock music. But then I also worship Beyonce.
Right. Have you heard of Sticky Fingers?
I have not.
You should.
Yeah?
Yeah, you should. I think you'll like their music.
Okay.
But I think they're
Link
Australian.
me.
They're Australian.
Oh yeah,
Sticky Fingers.
so it's funny thing. The bands that we listen to in this instrumental is a lot of Australians as well. Yeah,
Cool.
Shrines.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah. But I also listen to country.
Not
jazz.
much of hip hop, I guess.
Actually, quite a bit, but only because when I'm around with like, all right, the other vice that I love to in terms of music is a lot of R&B, pop, and soul, because in school I either hang out with Robbie, who teaches me all the metal stuff, and then I hang out with like my other best friend Mark, who sings like, he's like the soul god, like he sings R&B, soul, and he teaches me that kind of stuff. So we like mix around a lot. The only thing that, I'm also pretty into EDM, but the only thing that I might not touch is like trance or house music.
Wow.
I could try, but tak ada selera yet lah. Maybe I need to get into it a little bit more. Yeah.
What do you think of the recent? Were you aware of this rapper called XXX?
Oh yeah,
the
XXX
recent death.
Temptation.
Yeah.
I saw his death, but I've never heard his music.
Yeah.
I was wondering where his music was, but apparently he's a SoundCloud guy, right?
SoundCloud rapper, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of this recent death of musicians who are bringing who has like been a trend nowadays?
Like just these people dying.
Yeah, like to actually worship the musicians kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
What do you think of that in general?
I don't know. How do you say it? It's like when he died, of course, then everybody comes out and says like, I loved him, I loved his music and stuff like that. But I think I can't speak on behalf of these people though, because like I don't know whether they really mean it or not sometimes.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like a lot of big things that happened over the past couple of years, like when Chester Bennington took his life and Kate Spade took her life and Andrew Bourdain took his life. A lot of people are talking about like, oh, my friends who were not there for me when I was having mental suicidal thoughts are suddenly coming out on Twitter and saying, oh, you know, we got to be an advocate for mental illness. So it's kind of hard to see who really means it and who doesn't. And I just let it be like, it's just nice to know that these people were loved. And it's okay. It's okay to, you know, just, it's like, you know, sending your thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
And if that makes, and I'm sure that makes their family feel so much better about it, so just do it anyways. But what do you mean by the whole worshipping thing?
Yeah. What do you think of the recent trends of
Of like idolizing.
yeah,
to
idolizing?
wits?
Yep.
I used to be like that, so I don't know. Like, it can get a little bit toxic when you idolize and you worship someone to the point of to the point of losing yourself. A great example, which I actually also saw on the internet, is, have you seen Incredibles #1?
Yeah.
So you remember Syndrome, the bad guy, who's obsessed with Mr. Incredible?
Yeah.
He's like the epitome of toxic fandom.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
if you see like how crazy these kids can become, it's because it's nuts. Like, their superstar doesn't do the song they want at the concerts, and they get angry and they like bash them on the internet and stuff. It's just, where is this toxic energy coming from? You can't lose yourself in somebody else so much that you forget to be a human being first. You know, I've seen, so far, I'm a big Paramore fan, and there's a huge Paramore community, which is beautiful. And I haven't seen anybody go crazy there yet, but I know there's a lot of places like in K-pop and J-pop that people really commit their lives to these bands, and it's like, it's admirable that you can be so connected with somebody that you don't know, but you got to remember you're also here first. Like, it's a bit scary. I wouldn't say scary, but I would say that, people just need to be cautious about how into things they are. Everything in moderation.
Right.
Yeah.
How does it feel like to be Annatasha Saiful? Like, how does it really feel like?
I mean, we want to be raw. If we want to be real here, I like where I'm at now. Like I said, my friends, I've seen them climb into the fandom and into the Malaysian eye so well, and I'm so proud of them. But I'm okay where I'm at because I still enjoy my privacy. I still enjoy being able to do what I want to do instead of just being under the microscope for what I wear or who I'm hanging out with or where I hang out. And I just want to be able to provide good vibes and positive energy for people around me without having to be in the spotlight. For as long as I'm here to, I can give my support to people from where I'm at, I think I'm good. And I just want to keep it low-key, you know?
And I think it's also, like, in Malaysia, it's a lot harder to be famous, right? It's a lot more, you're prone more to get criticized, right?
I mean, it's the same in
America.
It's the same in every country, I feel.
Right.
But it just depends on which I wouldn't even say culture, but which background you are from.
Right. So,
and you know, we don't want to get into like political or religious
but
talk.
the Malay ethnicity would get more.
Yeah, I mean,
Malaysia.
we're a bit more scrutinized, and you know, I understand people just want to help, but sometimes their approach is a little bit, you know, inappropriate. And you know, if I can help teach, now I wouldn't want to help teach, but if I can enlighten them on how is the proper way to talk to people, especially people that you don't know on the internet, I would love to do that first. Instead, so it's like, I just want to make this place a happier place. You know what I mean? It's kind of sad sometimes, but you know, just want to try. And this is a good place. Me at home, with my family, with my friends, doing music when I want, and not having to worry about who's watching me. I love that. That's perfect for me.
Nice. I heard you mentioned mental health just now, right?
Yeah.
What do you think is the current state of mental health with people who have like suicidal thoughts?
Yeah.
And how do these people with suicidal thoughts cure themselves or maybe find hope in life?
Yeah, you see, it's like I'm not a therapist, but from where I've been, especially in America, where mental health and mental health is very important over there. A lot of schools, every time somebody dies in school, like a teacher dies, or there had been a shooting in like Texas and stuff like that, our school reaches out to the students and they provide counseling and just a place to talk to about these kind of things. And we have support groups for how do you like sexual abuse victims and stuff like that. And all of this, like I know I don't know much about depression. I only suffer anxiety, but all of like the people who suffer from depression, they go through suicidal thoughts, but it all stems from something before of like a certain source. And sometimes there's no cure to it because it's kind of like PTSD, where you're just like, it's just a traumatizing thing where you cannot get rid of. But talking to people and going to seek professional help, like going to a psychiatrist or a therapist, will really help. The only thing about it over here, I feel it's considered taboo when you want to go and get professional help from doctors to stabilize your mental health, because a lot of people say there are demons inside you that you have to pray away. And up to a certain extent, I respect if people want to go through that, and that's okay. But there is a certain medical extent that you need to understand that it's also a very scientific side of things. And seeking help and going to the therapist does not mean you're crazy. And people have to embed that in their minds that you're not crazy just because you go to a therapist. You need the help. And I'm just trying to be an advocate for that as well, especially over here, because when you tell your mother, like even when I first told my mother, like I suffer anxiety, she's like, just go to sleep, get some rest, drink water. And you're like, I don't think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the first step for it is like, I don't know how to cure you guys, obviously, but I think the first step is just to admit you have that problem and to seek professional help. And then after that, just ride that wave. Some people don't even get the right therapist in the first run. They need to go through a couple until they find the right one. A lot of my friends in America did not just go to one therapist and settle on them. They had to it's like friends, you gotta meet the right ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think like it's because of too much comparison and too much going on the internet that makes them
stems from it? I highly like again, I say I cannot speak for every individual. It's so subjective, but I really think that a lot of it stems from something that happens off the internet, but then going onto the internet and seeing people reinforce things such as victim blaming, or saying like, oh, because she dressed that way, then she deserved to be done like that. That will make people go into depression. It's like if they have something that happened to them and they can't speak out because the community is saying it's her fault or it's his fault, then it's really bad, because then that's when they, keep everything bottled up, and then that turns into something unstable in the head. And it's just reality and internet helping each other ruin each other.
Yeah, but what do you think of people who already has a success, like Anthony Bourdain, for example?
Yeah.
He already has everything and he's already completed probably his life's journey, right? His career. Why would thing inflicted him?
It's so beyond me.
Yeah.
We could have everything in the world. I could have the perfect husband, the perfect children, the perfect home, and the perfect career. But if there is still something that stems within me that I cannot let go of, should it be a traumatic experience back when I was a child, or should it be a deep dark secret that I've never told anybody before, that will make you go crazy. Because like people like celebrities like Chester Bennington, who lead singer of Linkin Park, saved a lot of people's lives through their music. They are such idols to these people that they cannot be themselves and luahkan their own feelings at some point, just because they have to be strong for their people. And like I said, I'm such a big Paramore stan, but that's why the latest album that they put out, After Laughter, was such a big impact, because even in there she sings about how she is not your idol. You have to take care of yourself as well. But you could have everything you want, but still something could trigger it. And sometimes it could be, I don't know the science behind it that much, but it could be a previous memory or an old memory, or it could just be some imbalances, like some chemical imbalances in your mind. And I hear that happens a lot too.
I guess exercise is very important, and food.
That's what they say. Yeah. Just eating the right things at the right time, food, and practicing good energy, making sure that you don't surround yourself with toxic people. What my performance teacher, Livingston Taylor, said that one time is that when you meet a friend, see if they add value to your life and if you add value to theirs. If you don't, then there's no point of keeping them around. But you just need to add value, and value meaning good, positive,
Yeah, because I've heard the 5 people you spend your time most with actually makes you who you are.
Yeah.
But how do you actually change the 5 people? Because obviously we are not aware of that, and then once we're introduced to that theory and then we agreed upon it, but we are surrounded by our surroundings. How do we completely change that?
Like change how they are? Or?
change our environment? Like, how do we cancel out all of our friends and just start fresh? Is that even possible?
Well, I have had to do that before.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when we were younger, we would make all these groups of friends and you would realize that, okay, these are definitely my friends for life. And then as you grow up, because we are still growing, we never stop growing, you realize they change to adapt to different traits or different personalities that you never knew you wouldn't like or you wouldn't know wouldn't fit you.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, this really cool guy who just likes to hang out every day and shisha with you every day, suddenly is like, turns out to be a homophobic.
Okay.
And you're like, wait a minute, you know,
Yeah,
that kind of thing. So it's just like, when you realize there's something toxic, it's okay to cut them out. And it's funny because people say like, it's the same with family as well. I have plenty of toxic family members, and if you just don't, you just don't want to immerse yourself in that energy, so just keep yourself out of it. And starting new is not, it might sound scary, but it's actually quite refreshing.
So just keep yourself out of it and then just move on with your life.
Just move on and keep the good things that they taught you and bring it, because I can't imagine that there's one person who's just bad things. I'm sure there are good things that came out of them too. So just take that as a fond memory, no hard feelings. We don't want to be bitter, you know? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Photography, music, and baking, right? That would be the major three, right? If you had to leave one out to stay alive, and not be able to counter them ever again, yeah, which one will you leave out?
To be quite frank, I think it would be baking.
Wow.
Yeah. Even though it has served me very well over the past years, but if I had to let go of something, I would let go of the one that I'm least passionate about. And I love visual arts and I love, obviously, sound.
Right.
So I would want to keep that as close as I can to me.
Right.
I think that will fuel me to the very end of time.
Cool. No more baking then.
That'll be rough, but I mean, I can't deny it. It's going to be very difficult, but what to do? You ask me to pick, I pick lah.
Yeah. What suggestions or advice do you have for someone who hasn't found their meaning in life, their passion? Like yourself, you have 5 different passions, but they are lost in the sauce and they don't even know what one thing that they're passionate about. What advice or like what should they do? You know, what's next for them?
I would say just experiment. Every time I've had a talk or or interview, I've always said try everything at least once, within means of legal acts lah. Let's not do anything illegal, guys.
Yeah.
But you know, like try every creative, every adventurous, everything at least once. Even if it means taking an accounting degree or taking a business music management degree, it's just try it, and if you don't like it, it's okay. The only thing you've lost is time. And I know time is precious to a lot of people, but you did not go by spending that time learning nothing. So, and also, the other piece of advice is that if you're going to try everything at least once, try it with all your heart. Don't just chincai, try it out. You know what I mean? Like when I went into photography and I went for workshops in Singapore, I did I met up with people over here, did photo walks over here, just put your heart into it. And then culinary, I study, graduated top 7 of the class kind of thing. So just really put yourself in it. And eventually it'll come apparent of what is your life and what you're meant to do. And some people don't even figure out till they're like 50 or 60 years old. But if you're happy and you're learning as you go away, then what time have you lost, You've been just getting wiser and smarter as you go along.
Cool. Hope everyone gets a little bit of that.
I hope so.
I don't mean to sound cliche, but where do you see yourself in 8 years' time?
8 years, how old will I be? I'll be 33.
Yeah.
Hopefully with a very stable, I wouldn't say it's like a stable thing for money. I have plans, but I won't say it yet. Like a stable income, good place to live. I want to be a mom by then. Married or not doesn't matter. As long as I want to be happy, have a child, because that's one of my biggest fulfillment in life. I want to be a successful mother. Like people are like, what's your biggest dream? What's your biggest ambition? I was like, I want to be a successful mother, no matter what career path, just successful and a mother. And I think, I don't know where though. I don't know whether it'll be here or overseas. I've always dreamed of living in Hawaii.
Hawaii. So if you have a chance to move anywhere, it'll be Hawaii for sure.
Yeah, because in terms of my line of work, when like I want to do post-production, I can work remotely from anywhere, right? So
Yeah.
people just send me, thank God for the internet, you know?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Hawaii would be the dream, but I don't know. It's hard. America and visas are.
Yeah. True.
But yeah, in 8 years, I see myself having a stable income from the institution and the company that I want to build, and then hopefully with at least one child, and just happy.
I mean. Right. So do you? Is it still recording? It
Yeah,
is,
still
right? I'm just
recording.
gonna put it down
Okay.
here. Will it be recording?
Recording my. Oh, over there I
Yeah.
cannot really see. Okay, like that I can
This
see. Yeah,
Cool.
cool.
All right. Okay, this is where I flip the script
Okay.
and let you ask anything. Since I already asked you a ton
Yeah.
of questions, so there could be any questions apart from why am I doing this podcast? 'Cause
Okay.
that has been the common question.
Okay.
And yeah, anything at all.
All right. As someone who is currently in the scene and trying to come up and build into the social media and the media side of things in KL, what are the things that you are most concerned about the community that is listening to your stuff? Like when I'm raw about how I don't like to talk about religion and politics, how do you think they would react to that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's your question.
Yeah, like do you, well, to make it simpler, do you feel like you have to filter your content?
The good thing about my content is in English, right?
Yeah.
So I have a feeling like it wouldn't reach the people who don't have like a certain amount of open-mindedness in them.
Correct.
Whereas if I do it in Malay, I could easily
It'd
do
be
it in
different.
Malay and
Yeah.
reach more audience in
Yeah.
a way. But with the content, and I have to filter more stuff.
Correct.
And I'm confident enough that I don't have to filter anything. I can speak of anything that I want,
Yeah.
and it will be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
'cause- yeah.
sorry, so like you would rather have your content raw than have a bigger audience, then would you say?
Yeah, because I
I
know
respect that.
I know at some point it's not like I know that I've traveled into the future, but
Yeah.
my instinct says that just stick to whatever I want to do, and
Yeah.
the audience will come.
Yeah, and be true to
Especially-
it.
Yeah, be
Yeah.
true to it, especially in Malaysia.
Yeah.
Whatever we say we don't want or we don't believe now,
Yeah.
in time to come, everyone will accept it. It's just Malaysia is always a little bit like 5 steps behind.
Yeah, correct.
The easiest thing to do to start something in Malaysia, just look to the west and see what's there, and
Yeah.
just do it now.
Yeah.
And then soon people will pick it up.
Yeah, I guess so.
Almost.
Because I feel I feel like that's the only part, like how do you say, it's quite the dilemma when you want to become something in this country. It's whether to people please or please yourself, and which
Yeah.
one is like, which one's more fulfilling for you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like what kind of other content, like are you very open with your other podcast guests? Did they
Yeah.
talk about like anything out in the
Anything
open?
at all, depending on what they are as a person.
Yeah.
And it could be anything, and they don't need to be an influencer, they don't need to be like successful,
Yeah.
as long as they have something in them that intrigues me.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And
it.
to share it with the rest of the world.
Yeah, and also now it's too early to tell, but when time comes, I think like these things matters, like
Yeah.
we won't have this moment. Let's say you would be a star in the future, right? A year from now, and
Okay.
you'll be unreachable.
Yeah.
And I have this content to actually remember, and also for the
Humble beginnings, you know, like
Yeah.
they say. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also I find that from what I see, what you did these past few years, I find it really inspiring, and it's really unbelievable at how young you are and how good you are with all these things.
Thank you.
Like I guess like it's because you started young,
I
and
guess
also
so.
your mom supported you.
I've had a good support system. That's the only
Yeah.
difference.
And then your mental strength is pretty solid, I guess.
It's all right. I
Yeah.
mean, we go through some times. Like I have some moments, but it's all about being able to just coping mechanism. Everybody's different, and I've kind of like, I wouldn't say mastered, but I kind of know my way now. So slowly, and the more I learn, the more I try to share.
Right.
Yeah.
If you could erase all the past and all the things that you're good at right now,
Yeah.
how would your life be? If it's not for photography, music, not for baking, not
Yeah.
for what would you be doing right now?
I reckon if I wasn't a creative or an art inclined person,
Mm-hmm.
I would actually really want to do something with marine biology.
Yeah.
That was my other dream because I love the ocean, and I'm a big nature advocate.
Mm.
So I reckon it'd be that kind of a route, but it'll be also a very non-profit route.
Yeah.
Why is my life like this? But it's okay because, like I said, that would be my fulfillment in life.
Mm.
To know that I did something right. As opposed, I mean, money is great. Who does who thinks money is not great? Money is great, but if you're comfortable and you're happy, I think that would be my route.
Yeah.
Taking care of the world.
Okay. Who would you suggest to be featured in this podcast that you know of, or it's around us in Malaysia, KL in the moment,
Who was I thinking about?
that you'd suggest to be part of this podcast? And
Like, can talk about anything and everything. Yo, I have so many people.
yeah.
If you want to talk about something to do more about like current, what is it called? Like current issues. In terms of like community and society and social media, the list of girls online that you can approach. I mean, prepare to be blown away by lots of opinions and lots of different mindsets. But I would say, have you heard of Shafiqah Othman?
She's a friend of yours?
I'm acquainted with her.
Okay.
She's like a social media girl, and she touched base on a lot of things, like a lot of things that people don't dare to talk about, and on social media. And then there's Nalisa Amin, who's a huge feminism advocate,
Right.
and she's also very big on supporting the women community. But if you want to talk about more music things and music industry, maybe about hierarchy and different, how do you say, like hierarchy of music industry, you should talk to Ryan Lee Bhaskaran. I'll send you everything. He's been in the music industry for a long time, and he's seen the best and the worst of things. I'll just have to write down a list for you, but these are the people I can think of at the top.
So it's Shafiqah Othman and
Nalisa Amin.
Nalisa Amin.
Yeah, Nalisa Amin.
Okay.
And Ryan Lee Bhaskaran.
Ryan Lee Bhaskaran.
Yeah,
Cool.
He's a cool dude.
Right. Where can people find you on social media, and why should they follow you?
Well, all right. My social media is funny. Follow me on Twitter at Monkey Disease, MONKEYDISEASE, to listen to my daily rants and see what I eat. My Twitter is more how do you say, personal, for the community, and for us to talk crap about anything you want to think about, anything. I'm open. Follow me also Monkey Disease on Instagram to see more of the lifestyle stuff, my photography work, where I've been, where I go, where I'm going. And my Insta stories are usually pretty funny, so you can do that. And then if you want to see my photography work and call me out for some photo shoots, go to facebook.com/Annatasha photography.
Nice.
Nanti you tulis lah kat
Yeah,
situ.
so facebook.com/Annatasha photography, Instagram and Twitter, Monkey Disease. Alright. One last advice for the youth out there, to their life, for their ambitions, and to find inspirations.
I would say, like I said before, don't be afraid to try anything. Try everything at least once. And be, how do you say, just do what you know you want to do, and don't let other people stop you from doing it for the sake of, how do you say, okay, wait, I have to redo that again. It's like, okay, hold on. Don't be afraid to try anything new. Try everything at least once, and just really be yourself and do you, and don't let people tell you otherwise, because if they don't matter to you, it doesn't matter at all.
Wow, it's a jam.
It's a jam. It's a new song, guys.
Thank you very much,
Thank you so
Annatasha
much,
Saiful.
Milo. It's so nice to meet you.
Monkey
Yeah.
Disease.
Woohoo!
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Kopi Kumilo podcast. All right. That was
All
great.
right. Cool.
Thanks.
I hope you enjoyed that talk.
Hello, Kopi Kumilo podcast. Milo Fico signing out.